के कर दिखाने में, मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी, और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं है, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया।
Yeah, we have to check audio. Not there.
Yeah, audio is not live.
इसको relaunch,
Can't
just
hear,
by
हाँ.
relaunching it, there is no audio.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to our today's webinar of Business Opportunity Over Chai. Business Opportunity Over Chai presented by the management of Franchise India with an aim to introduce you with a new business opportunity every day at 12 o'clock. I'm so excited to present our today's brand as the franchisee opportunity we will be sharing with you today is with India's leading omni-channel retailer, Croma Tata Enterprises in franchise-owned company-operated model. We do have our team from Franchise India along with our Croma team itself here on this panel today. Also, we have our MD, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary on the panel. I would like to request Ms. Sonia Chaudhary to take the lead and start the webinar with her notes. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neha. Friends, a very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome our panel members and also the team of Croma who has joined in today, and Kishorji, Tanvi, Neha, I see on the screen. Welcome to the webinar. And friends, before I let Kishorji and team run through the presentation, I'd like to maybe share a brief background about the opportunity and also our perspective at Franchise India. And so we are proud to present this prestigious business opportunity today from the most revered business house of the country, which is Tata Enterprise, which is a 156-year-old company operating in more than 100 countries across the 6 continents. And the opportunity of the day is Croma, which come from Tata company, and which is also India's first and also the most trusted large format specialist retail store, founded about 18 years back in 2006. And which retails multi-brand digital gadgets, so home electronics, and they also have a large range of their own label, which is available in all their locations across India. In the last almost 18 odd years, they have successfully launched, and today, as we speak, they're operating more than 450 large format stores, which are evenly spread across the country to offer a seamless experience to their loyal customers. And when we look at the entire experience of customers, they are not just buying products anymore. They are seeking experience. And the retail stores of Croma are giving that seamless experience and also omni-channel experience to all their consumers. So the opportunity today is one. I think I'll let maybe Kishorji talk more about it. But we're looking at certain locations where the company is already owning and operating these locations, which we would look forward to transferring them to select franchisees. And there could also be a possibility where if you have a great location, which is the right fitment where Croma store can be opened, we would also be happy to have those details. And if we are able to shortlist, we can take the conversation forward. So current locations, which is one, and second, any new locations where we find there's an opportunity for us, or these are underserved markets for Croma, we'll be happy to discuss. The model is franchisee-owned, company operated. So I'll let maybe Kishorji talk more about the business model and the format. And friends, I request all of you, if you have any questions pertaining to the business model, you can write in the Q&A box, and also maybe a bit about your profile, the city that you come from, any property that you own, which you think can also be put forward. You may write that in the Q&A box. We'll take it up once we finish our presentation. Over to you, Kishorji.
Thank you, Sonia ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar for Croma. Then we can share the presentation. So before we start off with the presentation, Sonia ma'am has given clear visibility on the brand. Per se, we started our operations in 2006 with the first store at Juhu in Bombay. Today we have more than 475 stores which are operational across the country. And our mission for the brand has been, as India adopts the latest technologies for a better life, our mission is to promote responsible consumption. That is by promoting energy efficient gadgets, assuring lifetime service support, and disposing e-waste safely. Our vision is to become the number one choice in Indian consumer electronics retail experience for the year 2025. Now, when we started off our operations in 2006, the entire demographics of organized retail was completely different. It was more of an unorganized retail. The technology was very complex. It was full of a lot of jargons. Then there were too many brands, features, and products. How do the customer choose a particular product? And it was more of box selling that used to happen. It still happens in many unorganized retail formats as well. And whether I get a good deal or not, and there is always a fear that I was told the product on MRP and then some discount was given on that. And the inventory was also very limited in the shops. So these were a couple of challenges that unorganized retail had. And when we started off our operations, this was a breakthrough in proving all this wrong and then moving forward in terms of organized retail. There are a lot of industry firsts that Croma brought in. I mean, we come with a wider range. As strong as an online retailer. The ambience of the store is one that is well researched through, and the touch, feel, try is basically what we believe in, wherein you touch, feel, try, experience the product, and then take a call on whether you want to buy the product. We also strive a lot in terms of improving the product knowledge of our staff so that they give you the right advice in terms of which product you should choose. We have always continued to innovate, and just to inform you, we were the first players in this format to come with an omni-channel format in 2012, and we are growing strong on that front. Just to add, we have a very strong own label portfolio which is available across categories. We have more than 300 SKUs that are live now, and the customer NPS also has been really good for all these products that we have launched over the period of time. And we have also been awarded for excellence across areas as the Consumer Durable Retailer of the Year, multiple others. Today, as we speak, we have 475 stores that are operational across the country. The gist of the stores that we have got across the country. We currently are operating at somewhere around 20 odd million customer base. with 700 to 800 store per day walk-ins. And of course, the walk-in increase 1.5 to 2x during the festive. Now, what we will do here is how do we bring in this model is basically we are looking, the model that we are presenting here is a FOCO model, franchisee owned company operated. We are looking for partners who would invest into this opportunity. How would I define a partner? Is person who is seeking a passive income opportunity, persons who are already successful in their line of business but have limited bandwidth to operate a new business, so they can look at us as a passive model. And basically, if you have surplus funds, rather than putting it at the bank, however, partnering with brands like us, most trusted brands like us, and making money on that front as well. So what are the advantages that we have in this format, in this model that we have? Is a purely passive income opportunity. It is zero consumption of your time, and it is helps you to diversify the risk that you have in your investment portfolio. And the most important part is that you're dealing with a legacy brand, the Tatas. So the trust factor is always there. And I would like to now invite Tanvi to start off with the model. And then once she is done with the model in terms of what exactly the numbers would look like, we will take up questions from the panel and from the attendees. Tanvi, over to you.
Thank you, Kishore sir. Good afternoon, everyone. We've been already given a gist on how the model works. As discussed, this is a franchise-owned company-operated model. The investment that we seek here would be anywhere to the tune of 3.5 to 4 crores. If I had to break down this investment, there's a portion that goes towards capex cost, which is basically my fit out cost for the store. This could be anywhere between 2.5 to 3 crores as per the actual cost spent by us. There's a 50 lakh of design fee component and 10 lakhs of maintenance fee component, which is cumulatively defined here as 60 lakhs. There would be a rental security deposit, which would be on actuals and would be refundable in nature. So when we sum up the capex, design and maintenance fee, and the rental security deposit, the investment would vary between 3.5 to 4 crores. You would be acquiring here a suitable store. Basically, we would pick and choose the store for you, wherein we expect you to make a decent return on your investment. The returns are going to be by way of revenue sharing over the sales of the store. This revenue sharing could be up to 6%. The payback would be expected in 5 years for the non-refundable component. The franchise ROI or the franchise ROC would be anywhere between 15 to 17% on a per annum basis. The responsibility of running the store, the operations of the store, the inventory at the store, the manpower, the marketing, everything is ours. The only responsibility that we are passing on to the investor is the ongoing rental liability of the store. So this is a standard model. The numbers which would be specific to a particular store might vary. This is just for the understanding. Herein, we are assuming that this is an 8,000 square feet carpet area store, wherein the rental is 80 rupees per square feet. This particular store in the coming financial year is expected to do a sales turnover of 25 crores. And we've also represented the com growth by which we expect the sale value to grow year on year. If you see 6th year onwards, we are assuming a pure inflationary growth. There's no impact of volume growth that we take care of. The rentals are as defined, 80 rupees per square feet with escalations taken into account. Herein, the total investment is 3.62 crores. So if we calculate basis the revenue sharing slabs defined herein, so first 10 crores, what we can give is 5.75%. For the next 10 crores, it would be 4%. From the range of 20 to 55 crores on the incremental value, you make 2.25%. And beyond 55 crores, what you make is 1.7% as revenue sharing. Hence, if we calculate these slabs on the turnover, what you make is going to be your revenue sharing defined herein. Since rental liability would be passed on to the investor, after knocking off the rental component, franchise income would be the net income that you make as an investor. This, as a percentage of your total investment, would be your franchise ROI mentioned herein. If you see, on an average, 17.3% is the aggregate return that you make over a period of 10 years, and 6.68 crores is what you make over a period of 10 years. So this is a gist of model. All the values calculated herein are net of GST. The impact of GST would be over and above the values calculated here, both on the investment amount and on the returns that you would be making over here. So that's about the model. We would be open to any questions that you might have on the model.
So just to add here, the number calculations that we have put across is like the income tax slabs. Then if we can put on that slide once. Yeah. So basically, if I were to talk about if a store particularly has done say 35 crores in a particular year, the first 10 crores will give you 5.75, next 10 gives you 4, and the balance 15 you get 2.25%. So it's like the income tax slabs that you get here on the as part of the revenue share. The model that we are showcasing here is just a sample model. The revenue shares numbers would vary from store to store. The ultimate goal being the franchisee or ROI would be somewhere between 15 to 17% for this, irrespective of the location of the store that we are talking about. The investment size would vary from somewhere between 3.5 to 4 crores, which then we have already covered. We open the questions now.
Thank you so much, Kishorji. Friends, I look forward, whatever questions you have, you can please put these questions in the Q&A box. We'll start taking all these questions. So quickly, on the opportunity, they're the first player in the omni-channel format, large SKUs across all categories. They have a very big focus on last mile experience and customer centricity, robust supply chain, which they've integrated in their model. And most importantly is the last mile fulfillment, which a lot of players, I would say, maybe marginalized players or small time players are not able to bring that, which is very, very important in this business. The model is franchisee owned and company operated, which is also a very responsible business model, which not many organizations can undertake. So we're talking about an overall outlay of an investment of which is to the tune of 3.5 to 4 crores with an area of 8,000 square feet of space. And ideally, the 8,000 square feet of space should not be more than 2 levels, where if it is on the same level, good, but if it is on 2 levels, it should not be not more than 2 levels, where the average size should be at least 4,000 per level. Now, there are 2 components. One is the initial investment that goes in the business, and the other is the operating expenses. And because the company is taking care of all operating expenses, the 2 components, one component is the occupancy cost, which is a rental, which goes to the franchise partner. And in the form of the revenue share, which we have talked about in terms of the slabs and the revenue that is generated from the outlet, the franchise partner would be able to get both return on the investment he is doing and also the return on the rental, which he can pay from that revenue share. And the other expense is your expense on manpower. There's other miscellaneous expenses related to electricity, local marketing, promotions. And also there's a big risk sometimes when investors feel the inventory is in their books. The inventory, which includes a lot of stock, which might be slow moving or dead stock, the entire responsibility of movement of that inventory and stock lies with the company, right? So this is what we have. Kishorji, I'll request if we can also give a breakup. I think largely what we see in the investment will go into 2 components. One is the basic interior, which requires to be done at the outlet. And the second investment would be done in the form of the inventory, which is to be put. So if we can broadly also talk about where is this 3.5 crores actually going in. And there was also a component of reinvestment, which happens at the end of the 5th year, which is basic refurbishment that is required at the outlet. I think that is almost about 40 odd lakhs that we have included. Is that also part of the 3.54 crores we're talking about?
I'll answer that. So the 3.5 crore investment that you're talking about today is basically has 3 components. One is the investment in the capex that is used for setting up at the store. It generally varies from 2.5 to 3 crores depending on the size of the store. And then what it includes is basically our scope of work that we have done at the store. Then the second component that we have got is the design and maintenance fees, which is 50 plus 10 lakh rupees, which is for a period of design fees is for the entire tenure, maintenance fees is for a period of 5 years. So again, the maintenance fee is taken at the rate of 10 lakh rupees plus inflation after the fifth year, along with the refresh amount. Then the last component that we have got is the rental security deposit, what we have paid to the landlord as a rental deposit, which generally is 4 to 6 months of rent, depending on the commercials that we have arrived here. Okay, so this total put together comes to around 3.5 to 4 crores. That is the total investment that we're talking about. The refresh cost that you have mentioned here is basically every 5 years we do a store refresh. Now the tenure in this contract that we're talking about is only for 10 years. So there is a refresh that is there in the sixth year, which is generally capped at 500 rupees per square feet. Comes approximately to 40 lakh rupees. However, that would be charged on actuals. This would include in the investment at the sixth year. So if you see the table that which Tanvi had presented, the investment goes up from 3.5 crores to 4 crores. And what your returns we are showing is on the increased investment. So that has been taken care of when it comes to the investment and the returns front that we are talking about.
Okay. So, friend, just to repeat and reiterate, the initial investment is only on the capex, design, and the rental security, which comes back to you at the end of the contract period if it is not renewed further. And on the inventory is done by the company. So there is no investment or security deposit which a franchisee has to pay towards the inventory. Okay. Now, I'll also like to understand, Kishorji, if we talk about the markets, because I was reading some questions. I have inquiries which are coming from a lot of markets, including one tier, 2 tier, 3 tier. So if you can maybe give us a little overview of, what kind of cities are we currently focusing on? And since you talked about the investment which has been done in the stores, it means that we're talking about the current locations which are up and available where a franchise partner can take over. So if you want to maybe list these locations, what these locations are, one, and second, which are the locations where we can even open fresh outlets?
Okay, the thing is, I'll just answer the questions one by one. The average sale that we have got varies from city to city. Tier 2, Tier 3 locations we do somewhere between 1.5 to 3 crores. There are some Tier 3 locations we do almost 6 crores a month also. Metros we generally do deliver somewhere between 4 to 5 CR a month. And of course, we are open to open in Tier 2 and Tier 3 city. We have got stores in Tier 2, Tier 3 city locations as well. There's a gentleman who has asked for an option in Jhansi. We have already signed off something in Jhansi. I think that store should be live in the next 8 to 10 months. It is under construction right now. In this model, we don't have any minimum guarantee as such. As far as the minimum guarantee model is concerned, we might come up, this is under discussion, we might come up with a model in the next month or so. Once that is in place, we will definitely come back to you on this front as well.
These are cities which are currently open, because we're talking about specific locations that we want to transfer. So which are the locations we wish to?
We have stores that are available across the country, be it Delhi NCR, be it Chandigarh, be it cities like Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, Bombay. We have got options available. We have got options available in Tier 2 cities like Ujjain. We got options in Indore also that are available today. And that is would like to, I don't want to limit the discussion to a particular city or anything right now. But definitely, if there are investors who would understand to get into this model, we have options available across the country. As of now, we are given a list of 20 stores that are already there with Franchise India that can be discussed, that can be put across. But one thing that I would like to make a submission here is this being a FOCO model or a FICO model, as you say, wherein it is a pure investment that we are talking about. There is no indulgence in terms of driving the store or in terms of driving numbers at the store or involvement in the store, I should say. So I think it doesn't really matter which city the store is. It's all about how the store has been performing and what is the future for that particular store in that particular catchment. That's what matters a lot. However, we respect the fact that you are from a particular city and would like to have a particular store in that city. If that particular store makes sense, we are open to take the discussion forward for that particular city as well.
Sure. So another thing, is there any kind of prerequisite that we have on the market selection, which is based on the opportunity, or the potential? And second is the ideal property location. So, for example, a ground floor, any specific markets which are preferred to open these locations?
So basically what we are talking about is, I mean, we are doing well in malls as well and the standalone stores as well, but would prefer to be in, because malls, we have a national tie-up. Any new mall comes up, we are always tied up with them. When it comes to standalone properties, of course, it has to be one of the main markets that we are looking for, with a good frontage and visibility is what we are looking at. And generally, as you mentioned, we're looking at somewhere at 7 to 8,000 square feet of size for a store. And typically in 2 floors that we're looking at, ground plus one, as we speak here. And with the minimum frontage of around 45 to 60 feet is what we are looking at. And of course, the box should be rectangular is what the ideal size, ideal requirement would be. And we are open to locations. I mean, definitely that has to be the prime location in the city, because that's when the numbers would speak for the location as well. I mean, in retail, we talk about location, right? So that's how it has to be.
So we talked about a contract period of 10 years. So
Right.
are there any conditions for renewal if the franchisee wants to continue beyond these 10 years?
So,
And if yes, what is the term?
So the thing is, what we have been talking about is conversion of our existing stores. A lot depends on the tenure availability of our existing store with the landlord. So whichever stores that we are proposing, they definitely have a tenure availability of more than 10. That's why we are proposing that store, of course. Beyond 10 years, one thing that we are clear of as of today's setup is that the first right of refusal for the franchising for the next 10 years is with the existing franchisee. Whether we want to go ahead with that franchising in that particular store in the future or not is something that is undecided right now. What would be the terms and conditions? But one thing that is very, very clear, if we are going into the franchise of that particular store in the future years also, the first right of refusal is with the existing franchisee, and that's captured in the agreement as well.
Okay. So which would also mean that for reasons the location where the current outlet is operating does not get extended, the outlet can also be relocated to any other location which is approved or selected by the company.
Exactly. Generally, it gets renewed,
Extended, right?
but just in case.
So I think I see a lot of questions which are coming in. Maybe I'll also let we have our senior leadership on today's webinar. Maybe I'll request Anand, Shakti, and also Sanjay was there on the call. If you have any questions, Tarun, you as well. If you have
There
any
is one
questions.
question. There is one question on the ROI front. So on the ROI front, whatever numbers that we have shown here is basically basis the forecast that we have shown here. The store ends up doing more, the ROI is on the higher side. There is no minimum guarantee as such in this. There is no limitation as such. The store ends up, we have seen stores where the store projection is say X and the store has actually ended up delivering 60 to 70% higher. So in those cases, the ROI is much higher than the ROI that was tabulated in the sheet. So that depends on the store performance as well. So we are selective in terms of which stores we want to give it to you.
Sure.
Currently, in our system, we have around 80 stores that are on FOCO model. See, the key driver for selecting this particular model is, see, somebody who wants to diversify. If I were to talk about the general IRR that we get in the market, it's somewhere around 10 to 10.5 or 11%, even that in the market with the amount of risk that it carries. This is basically a financial tool that you investment model that you have, wherein you want to diversify, you want decent returns is something that you can pick up from this as a model. And it's a good model for a period of 10 to 10 years. So I think you make decent returns in this model. However, see, what we are saying is an average you make around 17-18%. The initial years, of course, because sales being on the lower side will be, the ROI would be slightly on the lower side, but however, it will be much more store specific. So maybe we will be able to, maybe Akash has put up this question, we will be able to talk more on a particular store and discuss on the returns for that particular store, and then we can take it.
Sure. I'll take one and then I'll request Anand if you want to lead, or Shakti, Ashishi, Tarun, any one of you want to lead some of the questions. Some we have covered. We can also club some of the questions together. I see some common questions which people have asked. I'll take a specific location from Pune, and we have Mr. Ashish Gujarati ji on the call, and he has a property which is on Sadhu Vaswani Chowk, which is near the railway station. And is this a location that can be considered? I don't know if you want to answer that, or we need more information before we can proceed to answer this.
This particular location, maybe Ashish ji can send it across to us. We'll get it vetted in terms of whether we want to get into this particular location or not, or whether we have options available or not for that particular location. We can definitely explore that and come back to Mr. Ashish on this. So maybe via the franchising team, they can send us the location of that particular Google pin of that particular location, and we can discuss further maybe after this one.
Helpful, helpful.
Yeah, there is one question. Hello, Kishorji, Ashish here. When you mention ROI 16%, is that minimum or maximum?
I think I have answered that, Ashish, that it depends on the forecast. So what we are talking about is the forecast that we have laid out for the store. So if you see on that model, what we have done here is after 5th year, we have put only a 8% inflationary growth. Many of the stores end up doing actually higher than that, delivering higher growth than that. The store, actually, then the franchisee actually ends up making more money. So when we say about it, see, in the total span of 10 years, I think over a period of time, the gentleman actually ends up making more money than what is the forecast there in the Excel that we have shown. It's a slightly conservative number that we have put across.
Okay. Another question being, Bhuj, are you open for Bhuj? You already have a store in Bhuj, right, Gujarat?
We already have a store in Bhuj, yes.
So are you going to give that for franchisee? Any chance? Is there in the list?
We have not evaluated numbers. Yes, we can definitely look into it and then come back to the gentleman. We will take a Tanvi, can please take a note of that particular store, and then we can come back on the gentleman that particular store.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah. One more question is, will it depend on the investor, whichever store franchisee wants to choose, or how it works? Because the returns are same, right, almost.
So I would like to recommend a particular thing is because the dynamics of that particular store is something that we are aware of. And the operations at particular store we are aware of. What is the potential of that catchment and what are the numbers looking like for what is the current state of affairs. It's not just about what numbers we are doing in this at this current scenario, because the 10-year model we want to assure that the store grows at a decent rate for the next 10 years so that the gentleman makes money, because the escalation in rental is going to be there irrespective of the store growth. So we basically select a store where we are confident that the store growth will be higher than the rental escalation, so that the gentleman ends up making money, or else the initial returns might be good, but it might dip in the future. So we don't want that kind of a scenario. So we would rather prefer selecting a store for the gentleman, but we are open for discussion is what I can tell.
Okay. Another one is depreciation allowed, for the investor to be taken into consideration after 10 years, or how that works in the books?
Yes, of course. Yeah, because what we are doing here is when we are saying the investment includes a capex cost. So the capex basically would be invoiced to the franchise, and it would stand in the books of the franchise. So he can claim depreciation for the next 10 years on that particular account.
Okay. Any indications you have on that, like for a capex of 3.5-4 crores, how would that be roughly if you guys have calculated?
It is a 10% WDV.
W straight away.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you answered that, right? 10 years after, what is the auto renewal? Is there any auto renewal fees, or that you will decide only after 10 years? What is the new scheme or new package
at this point of time, Ashish, we don't have an answer for it right now, because there are a lot of tech changes that are happening in the store. There are a lot of demographic changes that are happening in the store. Currently, after 10 years, how will it be looking like is something that I'm currently unsure of. So whether the investment is good enough to be, what is the kind of investment that I would seek for refreshing the store at the end of 10 years, whether I would take another set of franchise fee or not is something that is unclear.
I think the question that are coming around is more of, after 10 years, will you charge say 3.5-4 crores again, or it will be a nominal amount? What the discussion, I think they are trying, questions are coming is
currently we have
on those side.
We have not factored that in. But fresh site of refusal is definitely there, is what I can tell you.
Okay.
See, it is an investment model, Ashish. So if I'm seeking an investment from you again, so the IRR would be built on that as well again. So it's an investment model.
Okay. One question is from West Bengal, Chandan Nagar. Are we open? I don't know whether you have a store in Chandan Nagar, West Bengal. If not, can you?
I don't think we don't have a store in Chandan Nagar. We don't have a store in
can you note down this? Okay.
We will take a note of that.
Okay. What happens if the investor wants to exit after 5 years or in between 10 years? What does he get?
So I don't think it would make sense for him to invest because this being only a 10-year model.
Correct.
There are only two reasons what I think when the investor would like to take an exit. One, he is not making enough returns, or second, there is some lineage issue in terms of passing on the will to somebody else. The second case, we are okay to go ahead as per the will if something happens to the gentleman. So that will go pass on in terms of lineage, it will pass on to the next fellow, the next gentleman, whosoever it is. In the first case, if the returns are not in line, definitely, see, please understand it is a win-win lock that we have created here. The entire returns for the franchisee is linked to the top line that we drive at the store. And if the top line is something that is not increasing, then it is a negative for us as well. Just to brief you, every store of ours is a profit center. And if the top line is not growing, then the profits will not come in. So we will, so one thing that Tanvi has also highlighted, Sonia madam also has highlighted, is that the entire operations is with us. And the entire owners of driving store traffic to the store is also with us. If there are stores wherein see, basically, when will the sale not happen? It is either the footfall is not happening or the conversion is low. Both are
There is a new competitor who comes next door, and even that can split your sale.
That is always factored in. See, as competition, see, when we have opened 450, 475 stores, see, one thing is we map competition, competition keeps mapping us. So that is a known fact. It is not caught by surprise that somebody has opened up a store next to us. Whenever we are opening up a store, it is for a known fact that if we are doing good numbers, the catchment is up for to be taken, then the competition also will definitely open up a store there for sure. Considering all that, I think more or less we are factored in that fact.
Okay. Is this opportunity available for rural? I believe tier 3 and maybe beyond as well. So I'm not sure whether we have stores in tier 3 right now.
Tier 3, very few locations that we are waiting, but the new stores in tier 3, we may not be opening this year. If there are existing ones in tier 3, we can definitely explore and come back. If the stores are doing good, we can definitely come back to the investor if there are certain specific interests in a particular city or location.
Okay. And there is one question I'm answering yes, because you already answered that. Are you open for tier 2 and 3 city? Yes. The answer is yes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we are talking about that Tanvi has also highlighted is basically a conversion of our existing stores here. A lot of opportunities that we have got. And without denying the fact that there are opportunities where we are under penetrated, as Sonia has already highlighted, we are exploring that as well. But for the first priority is the conversion of an existing store where we can see immediate returns happening for that.
Okay. And fine. I think this is already answered. What is the average sale and what are locations you are open for? I think this you need to contact Franchise India. We will connect back with you. Samay Sharma, there's one person who has asked this for the list of stores. We'll connect back with you. Okay. More or less, I think we have, Shahjahanpur, you are asking for 8,000 square feet in prime location, but in our city, rental is very high. Also, there are very rare properties in that area. If you can suggest another location, we can get 50, 60 square feet. Is it 60? Okay. So maybe again, there is some Zoom user. The name is not there. We need to touch base with you. We'll touch base with you on this. Okay. What will be the operating cost of the store? How much would be working capital requirement? Rahul, there is no working capital requirement here because you are not operating the store. Croma is operating the store. Okay, only rent is going out, from your this, and post rent returns are 16%. That's what Mr. Kishorji has already clarified, right? So you really not, should not be too much concerned about working capital. That's managed by entirely Croma. Okay. Okay. Any specific location we are looking in Delhi NCR? Any space available? Where because already.
New locations, maybe my team can put across. I don't want to take this discussion up right now in terms of which locations we are looking for.
Okay.
We are as we speak, there are multiple locations that are that are under discussion as well. So we have stores that are available that are available for conversion that can be discussed across the city.
Okay. Okay. Are we open for Basti in Uttar Pradesh?
I don't think we have evaluated that city yet.
Immediately, we are not.
No.
Okay.
Immediately, maybe in after a year or so, that we'll do. Immediately, we're not looking for Basti.
What about unsold item policy, Arif Khanji? We already answered that. The entire operations is run by Croma. So you really, we should not be bothered about how much is sold, not sold. Unsold is managed by them. Entire inventory, only rent goes from your account, and post-rent returns is what we have specified. So inventory is nothing to be worried about. Dahod district in Gujarat.
Yes.
Are we open or you already have a store in Gujarat, Dahod?
We
That's
already have
very
a store
specific.
in we already have a store in
Okay.
Dahod,
Okay.
and that's a franchisee store.
Okay, that's already a franchise store. Okay. Is the T Nagar store in Chennai open for franchisee as of now? T Nagar?
That store has been operational for quite a long time now. We need to check on the term that is left. So once that is available, we can come back to you on that.
So we can touch base with your team, in case if we have an investor who's specifically looking at that store, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
We can.
Okay. Are we open for conversion of already existing stores in Chandigarh and Mohali other than Panchkula, which is already in the list? So we are talking about Chandigarh and Mohali other than Panchkula.
Chandigarh and Mohali. Mohali, the store is already converted. That one that we have. Panchkula is available right now. Chandigarh, we will come back to you because one of them is under relocation. One of them is quite an old store, so I need to check the tenure again. Chandigarh Sector 22, the tenure is on the lower side, so I need to check.
So Kishorji, maybe a generic answer would be if anyone has any specific store which is not in our list, and if they want to ask, they are open for that store, we can always raise a query with the Croma team, right? That is what the question
yes,
is.
Of course. Yes, of
okay.
course. Yes,
okay.
Of course. Yes, of course.
Fair enough. Okay. Revenue share payout duration, whether yearly, quarterly, I think it's monthly. Rohan Kumar Raiji, it's monthly.
So
payout is
basically,
monthly.
what happens is maybe Tanvi will take up this question.
So we understand that investors anticipate because they have no role to play in the operations of the store. So on a weekly basis, every Monday, they get a system generated automatic emailer that tells them what has been the sale at their store in the past 1 week. Every succeeding month by 4th or 5th, they get a revenue statement. By 7th, they are supposed to raise the invoice. By 10th, we would pass on the revenue sharing, and 10th would be the cutout date for passing on the rental as well. Also, at the end of the year, we would also be sharing an audited sales statement for that particular store.
So I see a lot of questions which have come in, and I'm sure we have a lot of people who are watching us live and still on the webinar. Friends, my request would be, because your questions are unique to the location that you come from, so I'll request all of you to reach out to us. We would share our details, also our email and hotline number in the chat box. You can take a note of that. And very quickly, I also wanted to introduce our leadership, because these would be the teams who are working very, very closely with the entire leadership of Croma for all the regions. So if I can request all our leaders, if you can just wave your hand and give them a little understanding on the regions that you lead, because I see a very even spread of investors who are coming from up north. We have east, I see many investors. We have south, which is all states, in fact. So very quickly, Anand, if you want to brief and maybe Tarun, territories that you lead. And I'll request all friends to please send your queries to us. We'll ensure that our teams would reach out to you between today and tomorrow. And we'll also start setting up your calls and meetings subsequently after we qualify your profile and also the location, if you have availability of either a new store or converting an existing store in that location. Anand, maybe.
Yeah. Hi, Kishore. Hi, Tanvi. I think we have been working closely anyway. We know each other well. Before the webinar, we already locked a deal. So we are excited about this opportunity. And as you know, East India is part of my territory. But now we have opened up international market also. So Bangladesh, Nepal is also open to my territory. So anytime you're looking to international, we can talk about that also.
Sure. Yeah.
So friends, Anand heads the entire East. Tarun.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Kishorji, Tanvi, and Priyanka. We have already been in contact with a couple of clients based out in Delhi and the North region. So primarily any query which will be come up with, so I'll definitely do.
Sure. Looking forward.
So friends, Tarun is heading, in fact, the entire North, which includes Delhi, NCR, inquiries for even UP, for that matter, up North, Chandigarh is something which we would be able to help you with. including Balraj, who also is part of our team based out of Delhi. So Delhi, we have a big team, and the teams handle different regions. And from Bombay, we have Rajesh Prasad, who heads our region there, and also Ashishi. So between two of them and their respective teams and partners, we would pretty much follow every lead that comes from west of India. And we have Shakti, who is heading our entire region for Tamil Nadu and Kerala. I think Ajit from your team is already in touch with them. In fact, he met with them and the teams, I think, last month.
Yes.
So wonderful. Thank you so much, Kishorji, for being with us today. I like to thank you. I like to thank Priyanka, Tanvi for being with us today. And before we close, I'll request if there's a message that you want to give to everybody who's listening to you. And friends, one more assurance, because I see you still writing in as we speak. We would read every question going back, after the webinar, and come back to you with one-to-one calls with our teams. And subsequently, after filtration, we'll connect you with the team of Croma. Over to you, Kishorji.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia ma'am, for this opportunity. I would like to thank everyone for joining in the webinar. This is a brilliant opportunity. It's a long-term opportunity that I would like to put across for all the investors who are interested in taking up this particular model. And we are there to suggest you the right store is what I can assure you of. And together looking forward to making good money in this particular format. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And just to close, I would say the most successful companies or brands, they focus on users and not buyers. And that's what Tata has been doing. Company credentials, credibility of the promoters is one of the top mindset for an investor. And that is what Tata brings comes together as a value proposition for their partners. It's a long-term partnership. And because somebody said if they want to exit small in a period of 5 years. So these are investments which ideally would give you returns only if the entire tenure of that period is covered.
Yes.
That's how their business model has been created, or the construction of the business model has been done on those lines. So any specific discussions, friends, we're happy to undertake, and thank you for being with us. And any other team member who wants to give a parting note, Tanvi, Priyanka, Ajit, if you want to add on. I'll let Neha take over for her concluding remarks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, all the team members, all the panelists who have joined us today for the wonderful opportunity you've shared with our participants. Guys, I'm sure the brand details which we have shared with you are going to help you in your journey to go forward with entrepreneurship. And our team, as ma'am has already covered this point, but again, I would like to tell you that our team is going to get in touch with you within today and tomorrow to connect you directly with the brand and take the conversation forward. Sure. As you know that every day we are sharing a business opportunity with all of you, and you know that we are already running our 20th edition of Bharat Franchisee Show. So today evening at 7 p.m. again, we are coming up with some great brands for all of you into specialty retail sector. I have shared the registration link into the chat window. You can click on that link and you can get yourself registered and join us sharp 7 in the evening to explore these business opportunity. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that you all will have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all the panelists one more time.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.